If you go through the factory, for example, a lot of partners, stop working with gas, like Daimler. They just shut facility end of December, and suppliers affected. They just left because for them it's a risk, to be supplier desire to have any risk, and of course, it's affect a lot. We didn't manage, to be in, with business plan figure. It's huge pressure from the banks, and look, the banks has a covenant. It's obvious, and you can expect that company which been hit by the sanction, lost any opportunity to fit this covenant. You're already literally in default. It's just mercy of the bank, because they know and they give chance company to apply, for the license and to not to be removed. But it's not very pleasant. And you saw what's happened in your case with GM Chrysler in 2008. The bank just rip off immediately if they feel that there is an opportunity, and Treasury those days intervene and save U.S. car industry. In this case, it's not so simple, because it's normal process is disturb. You prepare a new model. If you see any models, there is a foreign component. There is suppliers who would evaluate the risk, to be sanctioned if they will keep. And of course, it's almost no chance, to develop new platform.
But negotiation are going on now.
There is no negotiation. This is a problem. GAZ filed 22nd of October, and they just disappeared. First, asking GAZ to wait. It's a difficult case, and now they just couldn't show any signs that what they want. And as I said, many times, and they try to, keep high moral ground, saying we're not against hardworking people, but this factory was bombed by Germans in the war, but still managed to survive. If a company will not be able to return after 4th of July to normal business, there is no chance to survive. Even if banks will bankrupt and finally it would be nationalized, there is no chance to survive. You need to restore normal process, and it's competitive, and company already losing market share. There is a lot of people who wants to get it. Toyota, even Ford, would love, they taken market share to be removed from SDN list, because I think it was not according to the law. Even their law was not according. And what they brought, as a first step when they published the list of hundreds, what was the reason? They literally put on list, whole Russian, private business. Russian private economy shrunk for the last years, to less than 30%, and then they put it all on the list because of what? They all close, all these hundreds, they all close to Putin. They all support, whatever claim it was a malign activity. It's nonsense. It's obvious.
Do you think
and we have a very simple situation. U.S. foreign policy, especially in Eurasia, always run by a few people. Since the 90s, same like in Kiev now, mostly run by, through the US embassy. It was same in Moscow, and we've been friends, and even Russia support, a lot of things what's happened after 11th September to help US, to deal with its enemy. Now, we have a different situation, and Russian narrative good to be exploited in domestic affairs, and they use it at maximum. Always use it as a high, as I said, high moral ground, that they want to defend, people of America. But did really people of America give them chance to punish Russian people? I don't think there was a case, and it was missing, because it's always nice to talk about oligarchs, all this balderdash, but in reality, it's a simple case. They made a wrong with aluminum, and they suffer. It's clear. Europe can consume 14 million ton. US consume around 14 million ton. Almost 30 when aluminum jump $1,000. Almost $30 billion would be wasted in a year. And they make a step back. For this plant, for this facility, they don't have this problem.
Do you think you have a chance to win against the American government?
we'll see. But do you really believe, 2 months ago that the Mueller will recognize that there was no interference in U.S. election?
That was my
They
follow-up
did it,
question.
huh?
I mean, do you think that the Mueller report gives you scope for?
No, I wasn't the subject of a special attorney. There was a different subject, but still, we can see some real, approach, and justice system, produce what it should produce.
But you waited.
Reality, yes, it would be a difficult case, but I just can't see how those allegations, which they, brought, as a, kind of background, for me to be designated, could stay in the court. And let's see. I know that they will try, but let's see.
You waited the Mueller report to start this complaint.
The Mueller report just gave me hope, that legal system still in operation in the U.S.
What exactly are you ready to do to prevent gas from falling?
No, we filed, gas, filed, and it was an advice of people who were cooperating with OFAC. It was okay, but then OFAC was so scared by Treasury, and Treasury was scared by Congress, that they just disappeared. They run in the bushes and doesn't want to solve any problem.
Are you ready to give up control over gas to save the concern?
Yes, as it was done in the past. And it was already filed. The issue is that, it's, of course, this company is so irrelevant for them. You understand? That's why they could really make this stupid thing, to show the blood to the Congress. And if you go through the factory, it's not just 40,000 who work outside in the company. It's another few 100,000 who supply. And as I said, being the last Russian OEM, it would be quite painful to recover this loss. It's almost, and in the sanctions, it's almost impossible.
Can you give us a figure of how important is the supply chain, European supply chain for gas? I mean, if the company is struck with sanctions, and so the whole supply chain is in trouble, then other companies would lose money too.
Yeah, but still, it's LCV, commercial vehicles, not such a big volume. Yeah, it would be painful for Volkswagen because they need to, change completely their plans. But this is a problem, that it's not so, let's say, well integrated by numbers, even in European economy. But for Russia, if you live in Russia, you see all these vehicles used by small, medium-sized business, for the last 23 years, and it's obvious, that there is bottlenecks which no one could overcome. No one could make injection system better than Bosch, or safety, system better than another company. I don't want to mention it, but or supply component. There is a world cooperation. This is how globalization works. No one. We used to produce everything on this side. We used to have 30 years ago wagons of metals, raw materials coming here, and then the car. Now you see it's a different kind. To be competitive, you compete on quality and cost, and you can't be isolated. It's just impossible for this specific business.
Did you get any support from Volkswagen or other partners in your file?
No. They try to build recognition of the problem, but again, it's you saw what they saying about European ally in like effort, and you think they have paying attention what's going here. They will it's actually interesting that it's actually interesting when Gas Union applied to American ambassador, I think it was last year. He said, and it was a very bizarre answer, he said, go and lobby your government to do something. How it's possible? If you live in Russia, it's a nonsense, to pretend that the people, could do this. Again, but it was maybe a great idea to weaponize. And you think they have, paying attention what's going here? They will, it's actually interesting that Да, it's actually interesting when GAZ Union applied to American ambassador, I think it was last year. He said, and it was a very bizarre answer, he said, go and lobby your government to do something. How it's possible? If you live in Russia, it's a nonsense, to pretend that the people, could do this. Again, but it was maybe a great idea to weaponize US system, nuclear proliferation, war crimes, but to use it for purpose of punishment in a private business, in political circumstances like it's happened when Russian narrative was used actually to punish in the Trump administration. It's, in my view, not very productive. And I'm not sure that as they present all this here in Congress, when they said that we represent interests of American people authorize them to punish Russian people. And I know that I was punished only because I was a Russian businessman. There was no other Russian explanation. And I hope to see what they will present in court, when they need to present their answers. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I need to go.